the White House press secretary, joins us right now. I got to start. I know we're here to talk about the USMCA. I know that a lot of people are asking the impeachment question. I don't start with either one of those.
Okay.
Because I only assume I know what I'm going to get on the impeachment question. I will bring it up. I promise. Because how could I possibly?
I am more than happy to talk about it.
Here's my question, and it goes back to North Korea, and you moving these grown men out of the way to allow reporters in to be heard. And my question is, on a scale of 1 to the greatest moment of my career, where does that rank?
Oh, man, that is an amazing question. I would say, I'll give it a 90, right? The greatest moment of my career so far has been being named press secretary, also him being elected president, so those would probably be above. But I've got to tell you, that was incredible. And I think it came from, I don't know if you know, but I was on the campaign since 2 weeks after he announced. So I was his press wrangler. And so I think I had gotten used to like moving people and shoving people out of the way, and I got very protective of the press that traveled with us. And so to see these North Korean guards, and who, I've got to tell you, they were kind of dead behind the eyes, treating the press that way, I don't know what came over me.
When you get back on Air Force One, when you start heading home, do you have a moment to sit down, take a breath, and say, holy crap, what was that?
It was actually before I got back on Air Force One. It was while they were in the meeting, and that's when I was like, what just happened? And then I couldn't help but look over my shoulder the whole rest of the time I was there, obviously. It's very intimidating to be there. So it was amazing. It was amazing.
So what's more intimidating? Having to deal with North Koreans who, if they don't do their job, they'll get fed to dogs, or getting a tweet from the president while you're testifying about impeachment? Which one's more intimidating?
I'm going to go with the first one. I've got to say that whole issue of him intimidating her while she's testifying is nonsense. Number one, she wouldn't have even known the tweet went out had Adam Schiff not, which I assume is what you're talking about.
Yes, of course. Adam Schiff, it was right there with Maria Yovanovitch. The ambassador reads a tweet from the president about Yovanovitch's performance.
So he did that on purpose. So she wouldn't have known. Secondly, the president of the United States is a person who still has rights, and he has rights to his opinion, and because of the way he's been treated throughout this process and the rules that have changed and the rights that have just not been given, he used Twitter as he does, and he went around them. And I think that's almost what made them so mad and made them start using the whole witness intimidation. I'll tell you, I also, my own personal theory, think that they know their other reasons for impeachment are such crap that they're now trying to say they could add this next one, intimidating a witness. I think it's just them trying desperately to get anything passed through.
But is there any doubt from your side, from the administration side, that this is coming? I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. They're absolutely going to vote on articles of impeachment in 2019. We're all in agreement there,
right?
Yeah,
we're all prepared for that, yes. We're all prepared for that. It's unfortunate. It really is. It's ironic that that's going to happen based on a transcript he himself released. But that's the name of the game. The day he took office, we knew this would happen. I've talked about it before. The Washington Post in January 2017 had an article up that said the Democrats are already mobilizing for the biggest resistance any president has ever seen. And that's what they've done since he took office, right? We had Russia, and then we had that he's a racist. Now we're at impeachment. Nothing we have done is right. Everything is nefarious. Everything, is bad.
How do you get the USMCA, the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, passed? How do you get Nancy Pelosi to bring it to the floor under these circumstances?
Sadly, we can't control that, right? But if she doesn't, I think that will be part of her legacy, that she stopped such an important thing from happening that is so good for this country, for farmers in this country, especially. I come from a family of farmers. My dad talks to me about it all the time. He wants USMCA to pass. It's so vital for this country. We can't make her do it. They need to get to work. But unfortunately, all she's doing is focusing on impeachment and polling words. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Bribery.
Focus. Yes.
Can't say quid pro quo. They have to say bribery because it polled better in battleground states.
Yeah, they're treating this like an advertising campaign. They're not treating this like anything that's serious because it's not. Also, I think that people forget this isn't even a real impeachment. They haven't voted. This is still an inquiry. We had the first phase of the inquiry, which was all behind closed doors and secret. Now we're in the second phase. If they had the votes, they would vote. It makes me wonder why they're not doing it just yet.
Does this have any effect on the president at all? Does it annoy him? Does it anger him? Is it more than that, less than that?
He gets frustrated. He gets frustrated that things that we do don't get out there, and not so that he can take credit for it, but so that it can get out there for people. For instance, we, a couple of weeks ago, unveiled a website that it will help people addicted to opioids find resources in their communities. That got no coverage. That can actually literally save lives, and it's gotten no coverage. Then we also signed something that it's going to be a landmark that hospitals are going to have to show their prices, right? So that families can pull up websites and see which hospital they can go to if their son has broken their ankle. I know as a single mom, I would have done that. I would have loved to have that.
Right.
Again, that's not getting coverage. So he gets frustrated that things that can really help this country aren't breaking through. He doesn't get mad in a petty way, as people like to say. And I think that, it's clear he's angry because of his tweets. That he doesn't hide that from the American people. I love that about him.
That is Stephanie Grisham. That is your press secretary. I appreciate you taking the time with us today.